Hi everyone, this is Charles, and this is the channel for Tuesday, the 20th of August 2013. This is an ongoing series of year in review journals. You may think it kind of odd that I'm doing a year in review series in August. That is because on Saturday it was 1 year since I moved to Chicago. So basically what I am talking about is that year of living in Chicago. And today's topic is romance and relationships. And by relationships that means not only romantic and possible dating relationships, but friendships as well. And I chose to do that topic today because it was a year ago today that I last laid eyes on or spoke to David. So, 1 year ago today was the last time I saw him. I was in his presence. I spoke to him. And that particular encounter literally left me speechless. He said something at the end. It was a very, very brief meeting. I was basically picking up some papers, and the meeting, he said something at the end of the meeting that literally rendered me speechless. I was so emotionally destroyed that I could not talk. So in the past year, when it comes to romantic relationships, it's not to say that I have not had any sexual partners, but there have been no real romantic dating type relationships. And that is because of a couple of reasons. People are tending to fall into one of two categories, and was usually the case of my life. Either they were interested in me or they are interested in me, but for whatever reason I'm really not interested in them, or I am interested in them and they're not particularly interested in me. If I do meet someone who is interested in me, and I might be somewhat interested in them, and this is another problem I have, is that I have to put everyone still in my mindset, the mindset that I'm in and in the emotional state that I'm in. I have to put all potential romantic partners through a litmus test. And I know it's a ridiculous litmus test, but it is still the litmus test with how I feel that I have to put people through to determine whether or not I'm going to try and pursue a relationship with these people. And the litmus test is this: that if I start a relationship with this person and David were to knock on the door and say, I made a mistake, I'm really sorry, I messed up, please forgive me, let's try and work out our problems and get back together, which I know is extremely unlikely. I understand that. But I have to ask myself that if I were to get involved with this person, to invest my emotions, my time, my affection, and to allow them to invest the same, if David were to come back, would I tell David no? Would I tell David, no, I'm not taking you back for this other person? And the simple fact of the matter is that there are only 3 people that I have met in this past year. Well, actually, one of them I've known for a number of years. The other 2 I've met since I moved to Chicago. There have only been 3 people that I could have seen myself saying no to David for. one of them, the unfortunate thing is that one was in a relationship when we first met, then got out of a relationship, and then is now in a relationship again. I was being very patient, waiting for him to decide that he was ready to try something. And yeah, I was very cautious of not overstating how I felt about him or my desire to get to know him on a more romantic level. And apparently someone swooped in and snagged him. So that was one of the three. So that one's gone. The other one is a person I go to school with, who I thought was single, who we had kind of this really heavy flirtatious kind of thing going on. So much so that a number of my classmates thought that there was something going on between the two of us, and I would have really liked there to have been something going on between the two of us. But as I said, I thought he was single. Turned out he was merely having some issues with his partner, and those issues got resolved, and so he's now off the market. The third person that I could easily see myself saying no to David for is kind of aloof. It is someone I have known for now 12 years. A guy I met in 2001 who lives here in Chicago. And I've kind of loved him since 2001. But 9 years with David took me off the market, and I was nowhere near geographically close to being able to be with him. There is one person who is single, who I would tell David, no, I will not get back together with you, if I were to pursue a relationship with this person. And the unfortunate thing is that there are a number of people who have expressed very real interest in me, and who I kind of had interest in, but for a lot of them, when I looked at them and said, would I be willing to not get back together with David if I got involved with this person? And every time that I've had to say, honestly, no, I would not. I would end this relationship if David came back. And it's not fair to that other person to allow them to invest their emotions and their resources in me if I cannot promise them that should David return, should David decide he wants to get back together, that that I would. So I'm kind of dealing with that now. There's a person who I've been on a couple of dates with, who has expressed a very real appreciation for me, and I'm not entirely sure that I would tell David no for this person. And now when it comes so that takes care of the romantic issues. So I'm still single. I still hope to find someone who loves me, and someone who I can love, someone who can wipe the memory of David, or the importance of the memory of David from my mind. So now I'll move on to friends. I have a couple of friends, or I have friends. See, friend is one of those words. There are three words in the English language that, in my opinion, people use far too freely. And you know what? I'm going to stop this. I'm going to actually divide this journal into two entries. There's going to be romance and friends. So I'm going to stop this here now because I just realized I'm coming up on nearly 10 minutes. So anyway, that's how my situation is romantically over this past year. I'm still very much damaged, and I wouldn't say obsessed because it makes me sound like I'm stalking him. Simple fact is I haven't texted, called, emailed, seen, or talked to David. I haven't seen or talked to David in a year. Haven't texted or emailed him in I want to say about 6 months. So, anyway, until I can definitively say I am totally over David, and there would be no chance in hell of ever getting back together with him from my point of view, then it's really not fair of me to try and get involved with anyone else romantically. So I may be single for a very long time unless I can find just that one ridiculously perfect person. So anyway, that's all. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave comments either here or on Facebook. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll talk to you all later. This is Chaz signing out. Bye.